What is going on, IF Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about something special: how to lose weight fast using walking. Now, walking is a good tool to maximize your NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You can still use it efficiently to lose a lot of weight if you follow these tips. Now, I'm going to go ahead and break it down in this video. Stay tuned. I'm going to talk about things that you can do within the element of walking, but before we get to that, I do have to mention that without proper nutrition and controlling for what you eat and being at a caloric deficit or a caloric maintenance level, you still might not see results when it comes to walking because you're offsetting those results when it comes to eating. So you still have to make sure that you're eating properly so that you can execute the weight loss properly when implementing these different tips for walking. Now that we got that out of the way, the first thing that I want to mention is you can walk on a treadmill. And now, before you guys go crazy and say, whoa, no, I don't want to walk on a treadmill, that's boring. You're absolutely right. It's boring, which is why I say you can walk on a treadmill. But if you want to walk outside for the experience, for just the feeling of going somewhere, of moving somewhere, then I recommend you do that. The only thing that I would say that the treadmill can provide in terms of it being somewhat a different system that you can use to activate different things when it comes to walking is you can walk backwards on a treadmill. Yes, that's right. You can actually walk backwards, and walking backwards activates different muscles. You can have conversations and it'll still be a pretty relaxed situation, but when you walk backwards, you activate different muscle groups so that you build different muscle fibers that actually help you in the long run with partitioning calories. As the more muscle you build or the more muscle you strengthen, the more calories those muscles require, giving you an even better opportunity to lose more weight over time with walking. Also, studies have shown that walking backwards does provide added benefits than walking forwards, although both of them are very similar in terms of energy expenditure. In the Journal of Physical Therapy Science by Tae-Hoon Kim and colleagues, they saw that gait posture was improved with walking backwards, and gait posture is just your posture when you walk, as well as balance, step length, and velocity. So walking backwards does have its benefits, but it is pretty much impossible to do going outside, because if you walk backwards outside, it's just going to be like you're walking blind. You're going to have to be looking over your shoulder. It's a very uncomfortable situation, but it does not mean that you can't walk outside. Walking backwards is just a tool in the tool belt that you can use for some variety, as well as activating a few muscle groups that you don't activate when you walk forward. Now, a perfect segue off of that study where they talk about improving balance is improving your form, making sure that you're walking straight up, making sure that your chin is up. These kinds of postures actually help you walk a little bit faster and do it in a comfortable way. So not slouching, but keeping yourself straight up and trying to activate as much muscles on your legs as possible. Actually trying to activate the quad muscles when you're walking by placing the full back of your feet on the floor as well as rolling all the way to your toes. This can help you with the comfort of walking, which makes going further much easier. And with that being said, also make sure that you're walking at brisk or above. So you could do brisk or power walk, but try not to stroll so much when walking. If you're going to be walking, why not cut the time that you're walking by doing a brisk walk while also expending more energy because of the elevated speed versus just doing a normal stroll. It can definitely help you with both time and energy expenditure. And the more energy you expend, the more weight you will be losing. Now, accountability factors actually help you reach certain goals. If you're just walking without having any accountability factors, it's going to be difficult for you to gauge how well you're doing and how much you're progressing. And it's easier if you fall off if there's nothing that you have to account for. Try to set weekly walking distances, something like 75,000 steps per week. It can definitely assist you in not only knowing exactly how much you're walking, but also take the intraday stress off and put the stress on the shoulders of the week. So having a weekly goal as opposed to a daily goal makes it easier for you you in the event that maybe Monday you didn't reach your goals because you had to go to work or you had to do something specific that you have to cut your walk short or not walk at all. Instead, you can move it over onto maybe Wednesday or maybe even Saturday, whatever works for you. But if you remove those pressures of the day, you're much more likely to continue to follow through because you don't feel like you failed, since you're basing your steps on what you do for the week and not what you do for a day. Another thing that you want to do is you want to walk both with a system and a purpose, as well as adding additional opportunities to walk when those opportunities arise. So for example, walking with a purpose is like walking to Target because you have to buy something. Instead of driving, if you have the capacity to walk there, just go ahead and walk there. You'll feel much better because you got to go there anyways, and this way you were able to get your exercise in without being too much of a disruption, and also were able to get your steps in. So there you're combining your system of walking 75,000 steps a week with a purpose, and this gives it more longevity and ensures that you stick with it. Another thing you can do is creating opportunities to walk when they arise, or what they call incidental walking. So if you drive to the mall and you arrive there, and if you see a slot that's right next to the entrance of the mall, instead of choosing that parking slot, go ahead and try to choose the furthest parking slot that you can choose so that you can go and walk to the mall, walk inside the mall, walk out all the way to your vehicle. This can help you create incidental moments of walking that can pile up. Now, I'm not saying to do this to get your steps in. I'm saying to do this to add to your system of what you're already doing. This way you're expending even more energy and you're losing weight even quicker without it being too much of a burden. And with that being said, another thing I want to add is don't resist the urge to walk further. It's easy to say, hey, I'm going to do 10,000 steps. Hey, I'm going to do 15,000 steps, and that's it. If you become accustomed to your step range and you feel that you can walk a little bit more, then go ahead and walk a little bit more. Remember, as your body gets used to these things, as you begin to lose weight, your body goes through a process called adaptive thermogenesis, and it expends less energy for the same amount of activity. So to combat this, you want to make sure that you're always progressively increasing your activity. And the final thing that I'm going to mention that somewhat bounces off of that, talking about adaptive thermogenesis, one of the main reasons for adaptive thermogenesis is weight. Your weight is reducing, so you're carrying less weight around when you're walking. So try to incorporate some weights to your walk. If you lost 10 pounds walking, have a small 5-pound dumbbell in each hand when you walk, adding those 10 pounds so that you're still walking around with the 10 pounds that you lost. You could also buy something like a weighted vest if you don't want to have anything in your hand and you want to have a more comfortable distribution of the weight on your body. Try to offset the weight that you're losing by utilizing a reasonable amount of weight to help you continue to expend energy at the same high level that you were expending when you had that weight on you. Trust me, this goes a long way, because one of the big reasons for adaptive thermogenesis is simply the reduction in your weight as you perform activities, as you reduce energy intake and expend more energy. So I hope this video has given you guys some pointers that you can use if walking is something that you like to do, because it's difficult for you to do other more intense activity and it's more comfortable and something that you can stick to, then that's perfect. Something that you feel that you can stick to is always going to be the best system. So if walking is that thing for you, I hope these pointers help you lose weight just a little bit faster. And of course, as always, I want to thank my patrons from my Patreon, and I'm going to go ahead and put their names right up here. And as always, guys, I'll see you. What's it? Oh. And as always, guys, I'll see you on Sunday for another FAQ. Peace!